Okay, now we're on. Hey guys, what's up? How are you? I am Rachel, proud creator and founder of Seyopa, Seize Your Passion. I am here live from our Facebook group, Seize Your Passion, every Friday afternoon to talk to you guys about my thoughts for the week, my lessons for the week, my growth for the week, all about the notion of what Seize Your Passion is about, inspiring and empowering you guys and myself at the same time to go out there and realize all of your dreams and become your best self. Said another way, Seize Your Passion is really about spreading the message and inspiring you guys and myself at the same time to go out there and do more of what you love and be more of who you love, because I believe that that is what life is about, and that's why we're here, right? Why are we here if not to live life to the fullest, to live it with passion, purpose, fulfillment, happiness? Who doesn't want that, right? Okay, so this week, what I'd like to talk to you guys about, what I've been thinking about for my lesson of the week, my topic for the week, my growth for the week, on how to go out there and do just that, how to go out there and seize your passion in the most inspiring and empowering way possible, right? How to get past the obstacles. I see the Seize Your Passion journey as starting with self, right? Understanding yourself, knowing yourself, and really tapping into in a radically honest way and being radically honest with yourself, what you want and who you are, what your values are, what your beliefs are, what you want out of life, what you want out of yourself, right? It always starts with self, right? And it's being this truly radically honest with yourself in order to do that. The next step is mindset, right? It's such a huge part of how you go out there and you realize all your dreams and you become your best self, right? It's a growth mindset. It's believing in yourself, believing in your dreams, believing that anything truly is possible, which it is, believing that you have the greatest potential inside of you already, that you were meant for greatness. You weren't meant to just go through life or suffer through it. You're meant to thrive through it and grow through it, right? So having all those mindsets that empower you and push you forward to go out there and realize your dreams and become your best self. And then, of course, mindset alone isn't going to get you nowhere, right? You can't just sit back and imagine it and visualize it and believe it. You have to actually go do something about it, right? Action, taking the steps you need to take to actually achieve those end goals and those big dreams that you have. And inevitably, when you take those steps and you take that action, you're going to be faced with challenges and obstacles. So how do you overcome those challenges and obstacles? How do you overcome the self-limiting beliefs? How do you overcome the things that life throws your way on your quest to becoming your best self and manifesting your personal legend? And then the final sort of cyclical stage, and again, it's not some final end point because there is no ceiling and there is no arrival point. It is cyclical, and I talk about this all the time, but in that circle there are sort of these 5 points that you go around and you go through. So self, mindset, action, overcome, and then finally success. How do you even define success? What does success mean to you? You know, is it lasting fulfillment? Is it achieving a goal, a specific goal in a career? You know, however, each one of us has to understand. And again, this is how it's cyclical, because it goes back to yourself and what your values are and what you actually want. How you define success for yourself goes back to the self, right? So it's this circle. So within that circle and those 5 stages of that circle of seizing your passion, this what I've been thinking about this week, which is this passion identity crisis and tying that into that journey, I would say that it touches on all 5 points of that journey: the self, the mindset, the action, the overcome, and success, as most things do, again, because they're all interrelated and they're all connected and it's this one integral whole. But it especially ties into, I think, the stage of overcoming, right? Overcoming the obstacles, the challenges, and the fears and the self-limiting beliefs. And here's how. I think for so many of us, we hang so much importance and so much significance. In fact, we hang our entire identities on whatever our passion pursuit is, right? So many of us define our own worth, our own value, our entire identity is defined by what we do. And hopefully it's something that you're passionate about, right? And even if it's not, you still kind of live in a way, if you're defining your identity based on what you do, or even, it's not even only what you do, right? So many of us define our identity with what we do, what our passion is, or what our career is, or we define our identity based on others, right? What others think of us, or our relationships, right? I am a wife, and so that is part of my identity. And yes, it's part of my identity, but it doesn't define me. Whatever your career is, that so many of us, especially today, and especially with careers, we define ourselves based on what we do or our relationships with others. And this ties into this need for approval that we have from society and from the other people in our life, and from what we think that career path should look like, or that relationship should look like, right? But what happens when we, and it's, again, we don't even notice it happening, but we're following our passion, right? We're saying, okay, my dream is to become whatever it is, right? Whatever that career is. And then your identity gets so wrapped up in that passion pursuit that when you do fail, and you will fail, you will face the obstacles and the challenges, or maybe you'll evolve and grow and it will no longer be a passion of yours, and you'll realize that, you know what, this is what I wanted to do back then, but today it isn't anymore. What happens when you wrap your entire identity around that one passion pursuit and it crumbles, right? It either fails, or you've changed and you don't see it through the same perspective anymore. You don't have the same values anymore. You don't have the same desires anymore. Your whole identity gets called into question. And that is probably one of the scariest things I think any of us can face in our, existential human condition, is losing ourselves, not waking up one day and realizing I don't really even know who I am anymore. And I feel like I've lost myself, and this whole, again, hanging our identities on this passion pursuit, it's such a tripping block, and it's so easy to do, especially for, high achievers and people who are like, I'm going to hustle and grind and I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to pursue this passion and this end goal, no matter what happens, to the point where we don't even allow ourselves to accept any sort of veering off that path, or certainly to accept that failure is even an option, because what that means is that our whole identity comes crumbling down, and that is a crisis. And that is, I think, again, just like I said, all the stages of seizing your passion, self, mindset, action, overcome, success, they're all interrelated. It goes back to that radical honesty about yourself and with yourself. It's beyond self-awareness. It's being radically honest with yourself about what you want and who you are, and constantly being an archaeologist, an architect, and an artist at the same time when it comes to your passion pursuits and your dreams, and not hanging your entire identity around any one passion pursuit, and allowing your passions to evolve and grow and change and shift just as you evolve and grow and change and shift through life. That is all a part of you and part of your integral whole. And not any one piece of it defines you. Not any one relationship defines you. Not any one passion, pursuit, or failure defines you. And when you remember that, when you do fail, or when you do veer off course, or when you do purposely and consciously change your course, you will not fall into this crisis, this identity crisis, because you will realize that none of those particular points and none of those particular passion pursuits or failures or successes or wins or relationships define you. Everything is connected and everything is part of you, and you are ever evolving and ever growing, and so too are your passions, and not any one piece of it is who you are. And it's so easy for us, I think, to get lost and get stuck and get blocked by this passion identity crisis, right? It's kind of like, think about it as like putting all your eggs in one basket and saying, okay, this is my big dream. I'm going to pursue my passion. I'm going to do more of what I love. I'm going to be more of who I love. This is what it looks like. And my entire identity is now going to be defined and based on that one passion pursuit. You're setting yourself up for failure and crisis, because when, again, you do face the obstacles and the challenges and the failures and the mistakes along the way, which you inevitably will. We all know this. And when you do veer off course or want to change courses, it's not going to call into question who you are. And I think so many people, actually, this is the biggest thing with, the biggest question when it comes to pursuing your passion and realizing your dreams and becoming your best self. And, everyone talks about passion, passion, passion. So many people say, well, I don't know. I don't know what my passion is. Like, what if I don't know? And what are they actually saying? They're saying, I don't know who I am. That's their fear, right? But that's not true. It's not true that you have to have this one passion, or that it has to stay the same and steadfast, or that, you're not going to fail at it, even while you're going out there and realizing it and becoming your best self and pursuing that passion. If you, again, hang everything and your entire identity on it, then that is the biggest fear. And you're going to say, well, you're scared to commit, basically. People who say, I don't know what my passion is, it's so simple. It's so simple. Do more of what you love. What did you love doing? What brings you alive? Follow that, develop that, excavate that, create out of that, express out of that. I promise you, you will find how all the dots start to connect, and you will find that you are one day truly seizing your passion and pursuing it when you don't hang your entire identity on it, and you don't say, I need to define it very particularly right now, and I don't know what that is, because you're scared to actually say that I don't know who I am, right? It's so important to remember that your identity is not defined by your passion pursuit. It is not defined by what you do. It is not defined by your career. It is not defined by your relationships or by others. And again, this ties into the notion, the others piece of it, and the relationships. We so many of us do this. I'm sorry. I think we all do this at one point or another, where we define ourselves based on others and our relationships, meaning based on the approval of others, right? We define our worth, our value, based on the feedback that we get from the people that we love and the people around us, right? And then what happens when that approval isn't aligned with your true desires, what you truly want and who you truly are, and your beliefs and your values and your passions? It's like, okay, well, if my identity is based on that approval, and really inside, when I'm radically honest with myself about what I want and who I am right now, today, what's my truth today, it doesn't align with that approval, and that's connected to how we define ourselves, our entire identity, our worth, our value. Of course, we're going to shy away from that. Of course, we're going to say, no. I'm going to continue to follow, it's basically following others' passions and not living your dreams. It's allowing your identity to be defined by others or by external forces, rather than being radically honest with yourself. And that's what authenticity really means, right? It's truly knowing yourself, being honest with yourself in such a radical way, and living it, despite, how others define it, despite the fact that others may not approve and others may reject you, and you will fail. And that doesn't mean that that is who you are, or that defines you. That's just part of your journey to go out there and become your best self and realize all of your dreams. So I guess what I'm saying is, yes, go out there and realize all of your dreams. Go out there and pursue your passions. Go out there and find your purpose and your calling. Go out there and do what you love and be who you love. But don't hang your identity on it. That is not who you are. That does not define you. It is part of how you become your best self. And your best self is your self-worth and your values and your beliefs and your desires that are ever evolving and ever growing. And only you can be radically honest with yourself to define those. No one else and nothing else. So yeah, so don't have a passion identity crisis. And don't think of your passion, if you're looking for your passion, if you're not sure, if you're, changing courses or changing course, don't correlate it with your identity, because that will stop you. That is the biggest fear, I think, of all of us, is to lose our sense of self. And by hanging, again, these exterior beliefs of others and other things and the way things should be or the way we once saw them on who we are, on our identity, that is a surefire way to stop you in your tracks and to not go out there and seize your passion. So don't do that. So do more of what you love. Be more of who you love. Realize all of your dreams and become your best you. You. Only you. You have to be radically honest with yourself and radically authentic. Live your truth. I mean, it really just comes down to that. Again, this cycle, right? And it always comes back to self. And it's this constant, ever-evolving cycle. Self, mindset, action, overcome, success. Back to self, action. Self, mindset, action, overcome, success. That's the Seize Your Passion journey. That's the life journey to manifesting your personal legend. And that's what it's all about. All right, I've been rambling enough. Have an amazing weekend, guys. I will see you next week. Again, do more of what you love. Be more of who you love. Realize all of your dreams and become your best you. Ciao.